Hello, this is wmpyr. In this video, I would like to answer some of the questions that I have received recently. Actually, in this video, let me just tackle one question, which is basically pointers for multiple attackers. All right, this is an immense subject. I think it's a very difficult subject. And before I get into my perspective, which is probably not the normal, even for like martial arts instructors and stuff, my perspective is not the normal perspective. So before I get into that, why don't I start with some examples? So let me start with The Bourne Identity. My dad is a huge fan of the Bourne Identity films. We're watching it together, which is an experience in itself. And he asked me, I remember, he was like, "What do you think of the fight scenes here?" And I said, "Dad, I think, as far as Hollywood goes, this is as good as it's going to get. This is as realistic as it's going to get." I think the fight scenes the choreography was done by Jeff Imada, he has some Filipino martial arts background, an expert in Filipino martial arts, as well as, if I'm not mistaken, JKD and stuff like that. So it's a good demonstration example to see any of the films that he has done the choreography work. If you want to see what Filipino martial arts is kind of, some of it at least, is going to look like, to give you kind of an idea. I think the Bourne Identity showcases that very well. The only thing I would have to say is that in real life, it's not going to be so easy. What happens in those films is, like, let's say there's like 3 guards, they're armed, and they attack Bourne, and immediately, you know, he like puts the first guy in a lock, and then hits him, knocks him out, takes out his gun. The next guy is coming in and he's blocking, and he knocks out that guy, and then the third guy, I mean, it's like bam, 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 and they're all on the floor. The only thing, the techniques and stuff, I think those are valid techniques that you can use and stuff, and that a lot of times we do practice it. The only thing I feel like is that it's just not going to be that easy. Prime example is that Bas Rutten, former UFC champion, MMA stud. Bas Rutten talks about his fight when he had a fight against a brawl, basically against some bouncers. I think he went up against like 3 or 4 bouncers, and he talks about, like, the first guy came at him, so he just struck the guy. I don't know if it was a fist or palm strike, but he knocked the guy out. And then the other guy grabbed him, or, you know, they ended up grappling a little bit. He may have knocked out another guy, so he actually knocked out like 2 guys, but he was in a brawl. He was grappling around and stuff, shoving people. He may have been drunk. He may have been in a bad location. I think he said stairs. So, you know, those factors do, you know, definitely have a role. But at the same time, this is a former UFC champ. This is Bas Rutten, professional fighter, not just a professional fighter. He's a guy who stood on top of other professional fighters. So basically what I'm trying to say is, even for Bas Rutten, it wasn't easy. And this, you know, you could argue that the bouncers were bigger than him and blah, 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 blah. But even with his training, his experience and stuff, it wasn't easy. So Jason Bourne, if this guy really did exist, he would not be as good of a fighter as Bas Rutten, all right? And for him, in the movies, it's easier. He's like, bam, 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 3 KOs within a split second. And Bas Rutten couldn't do that in real life. So I'm just saying, in real life, you could use the exact same techniques that he's using in the film. I'm just saying that you're not going to get 3 instant KOs like that. You know, they're still going to be conscious. They're still going to be fighting back. He's probably going to, you know, he might be successful with the techniques. He might end up with their firearms, but he's going to have to shoot them, or he's going to have to be running away. He's going to get slammed a couple of times, you know. It's just not going to be so easy, is my point, all right? But other than that, I think that, you know, that's probably as good as Hollywood gets. So what's the dilemma here? Why is Hollywood like that? Why is it unrealistic in Hollywood? I think because they're playing to our fantasy that we all want to believe that quality defeats quantity. So you get one dude who's like super trained, then this guy could beat like 5 guys, 10 guys that are not as trained, you know? So the typical other example is like a Bruce Lee film or a Chuck Norris film or a Jean-Claude Van Damme or a Steven Seagal movie, any of those martial arts movies, you get one guy that's super trained and he can take on like 10 guys or even worse, maybe 20 guys and take them all out, right? That is the Hollywood fantasy that we like so much. You know, the typical, the real famous scene where Bruce Lee was surrounded, you know, in a enemy karate dojo by like all these guys, and they form a circle around him, and he just takes them out in the Chinese Connection, right, or AKA Fists of Fury. So, and that scene has been played over and over again. That was beautiful in its like cinematography, the way it was surrounded, and they had that shot from the top, and it was just like, it was like opera. It was drama with the body using martial arts. It's beautiful. It's like a dance. Choreography was beautiful. Realistic, it wasn't. You know what I mean? So I think that is so ingrained into our culture, into our minds, into our fantasies, you know, that we want that and we believe that, you know, and I think that's the danger of multiple attackers. Thank you for listening, and take care, folks.